Yeah, welcome to the second weekly Spielworxx Twitch chat here, and I hope you are always are still well. So this is, of course, the most important news. Although another thing is very important, since yesterday in Germany, haircutters are allowed to work again. And so yesterday morning I immediately grabbed my phone and I phoned my local haircutter and asked for an appointment, and she said, well, it's fine to come over on the 22nd of May at 5:30 p.m. So I said, excellent, and you will see this great haircut. At least it's hairs, it's something, not much, for a long time. Today I will first talk about a couple of topics, and then if you have any questions, of course, I will try to respond. I've used a different audio connection here, my headset, because audio, as I've heard from last week, was pretty bad. Don't expect any great technical advancements here, but at least it should be somewhat better. So, to dive right in, let me start with the Grand Trunk Journey by Claude Serrois, again, like last week. And the good news is, or there are several good news. First, we have started working on a vessel module, and this will definitely take some time. But at a certain point you will be able to play that great game by Claude online. So we are there, and this is something that resulted directly from last week's chat here, because several players were asking which games are available online. So I was rethinking, and you know that my early games were always available via Vessel, but then at a certain point I stopped. So this was good, I'm restarting. And moreover, the BGG store has reopened, as you probably have heard, and the Grand Trunk Journey will arrive in the second half of May. So you US gamers, you can play the game or order the game from them immediately and have it in hands soon. And I also would like to give out a shout to Board Game Bliss in Canada, because they had a very limited quantity of the game as well. Most of them are already gone, but you Canadian gamers, if you are interested in this game, please hurry. And Bosco is a great guy, and so you can get the game from him as well. Yeah, another topic which I would like to briefly mention is online testing. Of course, as you know, in lockdown or in almost complete lockdown, we gamers, we need to play a lot by online. And I had the pleasure today to already play and test the game with the wonderful Jason Dinger, his third game in the Tribune trilogy, Acadians, and this was a wonderful experience. He has himself done a vessel module, and we will now play and test that game regularly by vessel. So this is wonderful. And tomorrow, you know that I really hate a tabletop simulator as a platform, but I will get the chance to at least see two games. First, I'm pitched tomorrow a new game, and hopefully this is a game that is fitting for Spielworxx. And then later tomorrow, the excellent Matt Wolf, he will show me a tabletop simulator game of his squaring Circle Will game. This is a game that is already under contract with Spielworxx, but he will show me all the changes he made since we were able to play last together in person last early December at BGG Con. So I'm excited to see this and Yeah, I see in the chat, sorry for making you look at TTS, Matt. I'm so happy that you are pitching the game there to me again. It's not a pitch because it's under contract, but that you are showing me all the changes. As long as I don't have to touch any pieces in TTS and knock down everything from the table, then I'm fine. So I'm looking forward to this, Matt. The Tribune Kickstarter I'm doing together with my friends at Indie Boards and Cards and Stronghold, and I saw Stephen in the room here earlier again. Bottom line is we still need a few days to finish everything, so there is a slight and minor delay, but nothing more. So you'll see it soon, but at least I can tell you what will be in the box. So the Tribune 2020 edition, first it includes the base game from 2007, then it will include the expansion from 2008, which is mainly the Brutii, and they play completely different from all the other families in the game. So this is a really great expansion in my opinion. But there's also all new material done by the original author, by Kalle Schmiel. And besides some minor tweaks he made to some mechanics, there will be a completely new location, the Colosseum. And here players may fight with cards for bonuses. And there's also a new faction because it's a Christian community. And the Christian community, they have 3 factions for control, not only 2 as all the others, and they have completely different or slightly different rules for takeover. And then there are also 9 Emperor cards. This is a separate mini deck of cards, and the Emperor cards over time in the game, they introduce new elements to the game, or they may even block one of the locations or a function of a location for a game turn. So this is all new. So really, if you are interested in Tribune in the game, so just a couple of days, then it will be on Kickstarter. Yeah, and before I'm coming to some questions from you, I'd like to briefly talk about the games that I personally like and prefer. So I love narrative games, games that tell a story. And although I'm coming from a wargaming background and I love history, the games that tell stories, they do not have to be historical games. For me, it is just important that the games, as soon as I start, that in my head a movie is also beginning, and I'm the director of this movie. This is most important. And the games, really, they do not need to have a 40-page rules booklet to achieve this, or detailed miniatures. They just need to grab me. And a good example for this is Ground Floor by the wonderful David Short. And on first glance, Ground Floor is your standard Euro type game. It has a game board, it has cardboard, it has wooden discs, it has wooden cubes, it has wooden meeples. So everything is not really components-wise extraordinary. But in my head, as soon as I play this game, I'm really forming my own startup companies, and I don't see any cardboard anymore. I don't see any wooden meeples. I'm there to build my company. And as I said, this is a type of game that I love more, because it tells me a story from start to beginning in this company. And plastics, often they do not enforce additional immersion from me. So quite the contrary. So I know that a lot of people like plastic miniatures and plastic pieces, But for example, Tapestry or Era, these are great games. So don't make any mistake. But the plastics in there, the pieces, they really, for me personally, they do not add anything. Quite the contrary, the games feel like toys and not as narrative games anymore. But probably it's just me. So this was something that I wanted to get out of my head here right at the start. But if you have some questions, I would like to get to them now. But let me briefly look at the chat. Hi Stephen again. Yes, I saw you. Stephen sound better this week. Yeah, hopefully it is somewhat better. Audio is good. Thank you for letting me know this. Yeah, thank you for the vessel modules. I try to get again better with them, especially now. But I think I'm living in a rural area over here, and I'm playing a lot of games with friends. And as some of you may know, we have a weekly gaming group where 3 out of 5 are living in the US. And of course, it's good to have Vessel because then we can sit together and play a game together. So I think not even if we are in lockdown, out of lockdown, and hopefully sooner than later, then Vessel modules are great to have. I see Stefan. Yeah, he's one of the guys who is with me weekly at Afghanistan with Cole Worley's Pax Pamir, of course. Disable the flip button for Uli. Yes, absolutely, you're right. This is the one in Tabletop Simulator. That is my favorite button, because as soon as I see it, I will flip the whole table, so the game is over. So that is a great remark, but not a big issue. Yeah. There is, hello, narrative games. I just played Washington's War for the first time and was very excited. What about a Spielworxx war game? Do you have plans or want to do something like this again? As I said many times, and as you know, I'm a wargamer by heart, and I started Spielworxx with a wargame with Mark Herman's Washington's War. So that was a localized version of a US wargame by GMT Game, and it was a card-driven game, or is a card-driven game, and it's a wonderful game. And yes, I'd like to do a wargame again if I get a good wargame pitched. Because there are hundreds of war games out there, and each year it's not only that in total more than 1,000 games are released, board games are released, but surely more than 100 war games. And I do not want to do your standard board war game. I want something that is really special, and if somebody presents such a war game that is narrative, that tells a story, that is mechanically innovative, then of course I'm considering it, and I will try to test it. And by the way, I'm looking at a game right now, at a war game, but it would be too early to mention anything. If I can do this game, I'm more than happy, because I see something in it that is outstanding. So, but I don't know more about it at this point. We'll see. But generally, yes, if there is a good war game, I would do a war game again. Will there be more Cole Worley games from Spielworxx in the future? I hope so. I'm here. If Cole and Drew, of course, because Drew, his brother, is running Whirligig, the company. If they want to have me as German localization partner in the future, I'm all for it. Of course, we talked about this, and if I ever get a chance to do a professional German language edition of an Infamous Traffic, or a revamped John Company, of course I want to do this. But this is up to Whirligig, and I'm here. I'm waving my hand. I would love to do this, but I don't know more. Okay? Second edition John Company. This would be great. Claude, hello Claude. Are you expecting delays regarding the release of coming games such as the Cost and Crescent City Cargo because of the pandemic? Very difficult to say. Yes, everybody, each company tries to avoid any delays, but in reality, yes, there will be delays. Board gaming is not living on its own small, nice island, and the rest of the universe is it doesn't matter. We are dependent on manufacturers, we are dependent on distributors, on warehouse stuff that is moving my games or our games. So normally, yes, there will be slight delays with the Cost, because I think this could be out in time in July. Hopefully, yes. With all the other games, there will be most probably slight delays. And of course, you can say, well, Spielworxx is not really present in stores, but yes, still my warehouse people that are shipping all my games, they have a lot to do with a limited amount of people right now. And this can, of course, also result in delays. And after a certain point, I think we touched upon this last week very briefly, at a certain point, I need to test, and everybody else also needs to test outside of online platforms. I need to test regularly again with 3 people, with 4 people. I need to play games with people and going back and forth on the table, hitting stuff, moving it back and forth. I think this is important. I was lucky that I finished all my 2020 testing in the fall of last year. But at a certain point, if I can only test with 2 and only test with online, yes, there will be delays. That's one thing that is sure. An infamous traffic, please. There somebody asked for. Yes, this is my favorite all-time game right now. This is the game I'm playing. I would like to play most immediately. I think it's wonderful. It has also a moral issue above it that is even elevates it. In my opinion, it's just me. Remember this all the time. It elevates it above Pax Pamir. I'd love to do that game. You can count on me for testing. Who's this? Hope to see you at Essen. If it happens, fingers crossed, and you still owe me a visit to Krefeld, then I know, of course. Hello, Daniel. This is, by the way, one of the nicest fellow in the whole industry. We played games together, and he's also in the industry. He's at Moses at the company. He's working there as an editor and doing a lot more. And we were together at a hockey game, so everything's wonderful. And great to see you. Great to see you here, and hopefully you are well. What do you think about the BGG awards? Yeah. I'm not an award guy, so first, congratulations to anyone that won an award. I know it's important for people, and it's important to have some light towers, light fires in our industry, like the Oscars. Right now, these are the Spiel des Jahres in Germany, and there are not that many other important awards. There are the Golden Geek Awards from BGG. There is the Deutsche Spielepreis. Maybe the French one is somewhat important. But to me, they don't mean a lot. Of course, I saw that Wingspan almost won most awards, and I'm very happy for the wonderful, talented, and all-around nice person that Elizabeth is. So that's great that Wingspan won so many awards. But for me, or I'm looking at this, it's the same for me at Spiel des Jahres. Okay, one, done. So I'm not a huge award guy personally. So any other questions then, or shall I, do you have anything in mind that I should touch upon right now? There's another question. Any projects with company games? Had a past with them, right? Yes, Compass Games, I'm still doing a little bit for them. So what I think is the finishing touches are put on 2 games, and I won't mention the titles right now, but I'm excited that they will do a game about the politics in the Weimar Republic. And this is a 4-player game by Matthias Kramer, the German designer, who did, for example, Rococo, he did Lancaster, but recently, and now we are getting back to the BGG Awards again, he won an award for Watergate in the 2-player section, and congratulations of course to Matthias and also to Frosted Games, and I think the US publisher is Capstone. I may be wrong here. So it is Frosted of course in Germany, and this is a 4-player game, but it is way larger than Watergate. This is a full day's affair. It plays in about 6 hours if you are familiar with the rules, and it's a card-driven game on the politics from 1918 to 33 when the Nazis took power. But no player is playing the Nazis. They will probably come to power at the end of the game. Would there be a chance to see a Martin Wallace game from Spielworxx? As you may know, I did a game by Martin. I tested a game, played a game at BGG-Con with him in person, but that was not a game for me, at least I think. So if Martin would like to pitch me another game, I'm all for it. I fear that Spielworxx right now is a little bit too small for Martin. So he had a well-deserved success with Brass, and I think if he has, and you know, he's not a hobby designer, he's a full-time professional designer, so of course there's one consideration is where is the largest print run, where can I make the most money, not because of any greed. This is natural, you want to be present because you're getting royalties back from this. So I fear that right now I'm too small for this. Another question, could you offer a small number of Compass games on your homepage in the future? Difficult. I thought about this. I fear it is more work than any gain for anybody, because I do not have my own warehouse. I do not have stock here at home, so I would have to present this to my shipper. They would have to take the game, package it. I doubt so. I doubt so, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I can look into this if there is a lot of demand, but I guess not. I guess not. How was working with Callaghan? Awesome guy. And is he doing okay these days? He is doing okay these days. I was talking to him a couple of days ago. He is an awesome guy. I agree 100%. He's a great, wonderful person. Working with Kalle is fantastic, and it's different too. Because he's in this industry for 40 years, and so his experience is outstanding. But one thing that is important for me as well, that he is also very much still an analog person, so like me, and you can't basically reach him electronically, so you can phone him still, and sometimes he has his cell phone with him, or you can reach him via this. But it's simply outstanding sitting together with him for a couple of hours and get into his thinking, getting back and forth, and always a great experience. And I will also, or Spielworxx will do a third game by him next year. That is in the planning stages. This is Lieber baldes sterben, a game that was never done in English language before. And it's a 3 players only game. So I'm excited to continue working with him. You mentioned that we could create Spielworxx games for TTS. Can we contact you again specifically for this, for graphics and code? Yes, please. What I demand is really that you ask me for permission. I'm all for this. I have no objections, but please ask me. And I don't want to, and then of course I want to see it that it is as much looking as a physical game, and so you need the original graphics. So please drop me an email, and then we'll go for that. Mm-hmm. Do you have to send color a telegram? Yes, sometimes I think this is the best option, and I had what's an English name of Taube? It is pigeon, so I can try to get it over to him to Munich, and this is a good way to reach him. Right, carrier pigeon, yes. Okay, thank you very much for answering all the questions. Yeah, of course, this is my pleasure. You see, this chat is not something that is the most exciting and most wonderful thing you can have in gaming, but it allows me, and that's why I'm doing it, to be in touch with people. And this is also, in my opinion at least, a good way to go back and forth. I see immediately some questions, I can immediately respond to them, and not only in lockdown times, it is a good way to communicate with the people who are interested in my games. So I hope to have in the future something that is more advanced, but right now my plate is so full that I'm happy to talk to you in this way. Yeah. So I see we have 12 minutes past 6. If you have one or two more questions, I can respond to them. By the way, these things in my head, this is just that still the sun is coming in here at a low level now, because it's evening here in Germany. So hopefully it's not too strange. Okay, and Purple Sheba there again. Hi to you. I agree. It's good to see you in good health. Thank you, and hopefully you are as well. And I'm really looking forward that we are sitting at the same game table, play and test games again, and have a great Fiege Pilsner at the same time. So yeah. Well, let me finish here at this point. Again, if you would like to see me talk about a specific topic at a later weekly chat, you can write to me in advance, or if you would like to drop me a question in advance, please mail me at uli@spielworxx.de. This is uli@spielworxx.de, and I have something for next week. Okay? Till next week, in German, bleibt gesund. It is my pleasure to talk to you. See you then. Bye bye.